Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to talk about some new peg stamp sets that are out, and we're going to be making a postcard with them. I hope you'll stay tuned. So first off, let me show you the new peg stamp sets that came out. If you get confused, they're really called Rubber Stamp Tapestry, but for ease of remembering them, they're called peg stamps too. So if you look online, you can do pegstamps.com or rubberstamptapestry.com. The reason they're called peg stamps is because they're on a wooden peg. Genius, huh? Anyway, so let me go ahead and show you some of the new ones they came out with. These are the individual ones. They have 2 ice cream cones. Happy Holidays. Then they have the word tea with sympathy, blessed, and this really cute robin. Then they came out with 5 sets of wooden stamps and 2 sets of nice corresponding sentiments. So let's do the stamp sets first. First you have Robin's Nest, and it has these 3 individual stamps. You have the nest and some leaves and a big, what looks like a mum, kind of to me. I don't know if that's what it looks like to you, but it kind of looks like that to me. And then individually you have that robin. I don't know if you know this about peg stamps, but you can buy these individually. So if all you want is that nest, you could find the Robin's Nest set, and then you can click on that one individual stamp and buy only that one stamp. And they're usually between $2.50 and $3.50 for these a piece. And then the sets are, the combination of the 3 set stamps. Then you have Hooray, and this one has an owl, of course, and then a couple of, I really like this one flower. You can see it right here, and I love this because I think it can be used as fireworks or as a flower, but I really like this set in particular. Then there are Ocean Babies, and it's an octopus, a little crab, a whale, and a seahorse. Hopefully you can see those. Then there's the fairy garden, and my cousin Shelli, who I made a fairy garden with, I think is going to really love this. I might even, if we have time, I might make a second postcard to send her. It's got, of course, the gnome, and then it's got some mushrooms in different shapes, and a fern, and a little snail. Love that little snail. Then there's Fresh Lemonade that has lemons and a flower and then a couple of different leaves. Really, really nice set. Then what they did, and this was smart, is they came up with corresponding stamp sets that have the sentiments that would go along with these. Live in wonder, I love you no matter what, cute. Live life in full bloom for the flower sets. A lovely garden is a work of art. Gnome is where the heart is, cute. Plant, grow, harvest, smiles, laughter, love. Squeeze the day for the lemonade one. When life gives you lemon, again, you could put it with squeeze the day. Friends are like flowers, they bring color to your world. Plant, grow, bloom. To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. Friends are the flowers in the garden of life. Enjoy the little things. Live life in full bloom. And then on this one is related to the owls. Hooray, it's your birthday. And then there's just a little hoot, a little hi, and then a little thank you. I don't know why I do that. I think I'm weird. Anyway, I'll be here for you. I really like that. I love you with all my heart. You're awesome. You're a hoot. I love who you are. And then I'm hooting for ya. And then whom? Hoot, hoot. Hooray. Thanks for all you do. So those are all really adorable things. And I have already cut one out. Let me show you a secret I learned that's kind of funny. And because I'm me, I did it stupid, but I did it my way. And here's what it is. I've always used my Tim Holtz scissors. And for those of you who are not familiar with them, this is the size I use. I don't like the really long bladed ones. I like this blade. Now the long bladed one works great in your kitchen, but it's hard for me to open and close them. So I bought these ones and love it for cutting red rubber stamps. But then Tim Holtz came out with these little teeny tiny ones, and I have to be honest, these are so much easier for me to use when I'm cutting red rubber stamps. I'll show you the difference. What you have to do with these kind of stamps, you can either leave them together and stamp the whole page out and then keep them wherever you keep your stamps. Like, you could just put this down on your paper, stamp a bunch, then you have them. But I like to cut mine out. So I've already cut one out, and I'll just show you how fast and easy these cut. They are slick, I'm telling you. They just cut this like it's butter, and I am so in love with them right now. I used to really struggle at the end of cutting apart a couple pages of these with my wrists and hands hurting, but once I started using these little scissors, I've really noticed a huge difference in the way I feel and in how easy they are to cut. So Sandy's new scissor plan for you is get yourself some of these. So my cousin Shelli and I made these fairy gardens, and I'll link that at the end. And I thought it would be fun, since I got all these new peg stamp sets, to make a card for her with the gnomes and the fairies, and I thought that would just be cute. So what I'm going to start with is my background, and to make my background I'm going to use an old Stampin' Up stamp called, oh, no, it's a lie. Apparently I made that up. No, it is. It's called Sanded, and it's just kind of a weird backgroundy thing, and I'm going to use a Hero Arts ink called Soft Stone. It's a very, very pale blue. I just thought it'd be neat to have something that's reminiscent of maybe like a sky, but isn't really a sky. And I'm going to be using 4" by 5 1/4" cardstock, and I'm laying it right down, and then I have a piece of scrap paper. You hold with one hand, you rub with the other. This is the way to get a good impression and also not get anything on yourself, and clean the whole stamp at the same time, because if the stamp edge is past the paper, you don't have to worry about it. And there it is. It's very, very subtle, and I like that look. We're going to be using a few sets from Peg Stamps. One of them is called Whispers from the Garden. That's where our sentiment stamp is going to come from. And then we're going to use, that's one of the new sets. Then one of the older sets is a Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter inspired one called Woods in Winter. I think that's the one that I'm getting it from. It's the trees, the pine trees. I have a bunch of inks off to my right side that you should be able to see. I'm going to use the Stampin' Up! Always Artichoke as one of my first inks. I'm hoping that I can ink this really well, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wet cloth, and I'm just going to wipe off the bottom, because I want to have my bottoms of my trees and my ground to be ground colored, not to be colored green. Won't work. And so I'm going to use one of the little distress inks on these, and this is brushed turquoise, and hopefully that'll work. And I'm going to stamp this. Oh geez. Well, we're going to have to put it right there then, huh? Oh, these things happen all the time to me, don't they? Good thing it didn't really land in the spot I was really worried about it landing on. Okay, let's do this again, only this time let's hope I don't screw it up. I can go in with a paintbrush and fix that part that isn't inked or painted, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to go back in again with the brushed corduroy, and maybe this time I won't drop it, maybe I will, I don't know. It's up to you. What do you think? We should be voting on these kinds of things, shouldn't we? And then I'm going to wipe off this end so that I can get my trees closer together. Put that one right there. And hopefully I'll get a better impression than I did when I dropped it. And then we're going to do one more set. Then one last one right there. Push that down as hard as I can. I should have had a pad of paper under this. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. Okay, good enough. So those are the trees. So then I'm going to take a little bit of my Olive Grove, which is one of the Memento inks. I'm going to put it on my pad here, and then I'm going to take a little bit of water. I am using watercolor paper. I didn't have to, but it was what I grabbed out, so that's what we've got. Those are the trees, and then I'm going to need to go back in with my brush corduroy. I'm going to wet it down too, and I'm just going to paint more of these little bottoms. Then we need to come up with a way to get our gnomes in here. Now, I've been playing with these gnomes, and I have not had good success with making them seem like they're where they're supposed to be or what they were supposed to look like. So I'm going to work on that with this one and see if we can get this bad boy to be darker and look right. Oh, and if you've never gotten peg stamps, or any red rubber stamps for that matter, sometimes the edges will show up. So what you have to do is you just take, now these are Tim Holtz scissors, are made for things like this. You don't want to use your regular scissors. And then you're just going to kind of snip the edge and then pull that piece off, because that will give you problems and you don't want that. So you're going to do that on both sides. That is what it should look like. So now I'm going to put 2 or 3 gnomes around my setting, because I thought it would be kind of fun to have them have some friends. Not too bad. Let's put another little fella right there. Really holding it down as hard as I can. And another one over here. Okay, that's so much for our gnomes. He's nice and inked. So here's what we have now. I wanted to make some clouds, so I thought what I would do is show you how to make some clouds. And I'm just gonna go, I'm just making an uneven circular pattern. And I don't want any points on them, because the points will show up. So if you have a part of your place that isn't exactly rounded, you're going to want to fix that. Okay. So I can use this piece, or I can use this piece, but I'm going to use the bigger one, because you know that'll work better for me, because I can hold on to it better. I'm going to put a piece of scrap underneath, like that. And we're going to use that same soft stone ink, and I'm going to use one of my brushes. These are 1-inch chip brushes, and you buy them at Harbor Freight Liquidators if you're in the US, or any hardware store. But Harbor Freight Liquidators, I bought a set of I think 32 or 36 for $10, and they always have a coupon, so I got them for $8. And then I cut the top off about a half an inch so it's straight across. And these work really good for me for distressing. And I have to say, of all the distressing tools I have, these ones make me the most comfortable with the way that they work and the way I can hold on to them. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my cloudy image very close to the top. But not put as much on. Do the same thing, only I'm moving it a lot more this time. Not as much ink again. Your first layer of ink is the layer that has the most ink. And then we're going to go down here. And then the rest we're just going to fill in down to our earth. And our earth is where the tree line is. Okay, then down below the tree line, I'm going to use desert sand, which is a very light color. And I'm going to use my brush for that. And I'm going to brush, because it's intricate, you can brush around your little fellas. And oh, I forgot to tell you, you need one for every color family. So I use one for brown, and one for pink, one for purple, one for red. You also need one for, if you're going to use pigment inks, you need to have pigment inks brushes, because if you don't, you're going to end up having them goo up. I'm using a technical term here, people. They will goo up your brushes, and you do not want your brushes gooed up. I have Stabilo markers. I don't know if you've ever seen these that I use, but they come in a case like this, and mine are Stabilo 68s. They have a thicker point than the 88s, and I like them very much for coloring. And I like to make sure when I use them that I feel like I can color with them in a way that isn't an issue. Like, for instance, sometimes when you color with a watercolor marker or a water-based marker, you'll get marks and lines. So sometimes what I like to do is just scribble it out on a piece of my cardstock. Take a little bit of, not cardstock, a little acrylic tile, and then I just take my little brush. This way I'm controlling my ink, and I'm not going to have a really vibrant color that will black out the background. Hopefully that made sense. I'm going to use a little bit of my desert sand for the front of these little fellas. I think that's what a snail looks like. Pretty sure. Going with that. And then our little fellas, I think I'm going to do, I want to make them colorful because, you know, they're gnomes. And people I've seen that have gnomes, they have colorful gnomes. So I'm going to use some fun and frisky colors on my gnomes. I don't see them wearing that color. I was going to put some pink on them, and I thought, no, I don't think they're going to wear pink. But they might wear bright orange. And then I think they probably would have a grayish beard. It's hard to see the gray. So we're going to do the gray first. Again. Okay. Now this set does come with a bunch of mushrooms, and I don't know if I want to do mushrooms because I'm afraid in in conjunction with everything else, these mushrooms are much bigger sizes. So I think I'm going to hold off on the mushroom in this one set. I might put the flying birds up in the sky. My sky looked a little bit Spartan, we'll call it. I'm going to use black ink on them because they're more of a shadow than anything else. Hopefully I didn't put them on upside down. Okay. Then I'm going to get a black marker from my set, and I'm going to go around the edges just so we have an outline of them. Okay. There's our birds. I think I should put something to ground my little fellas too. Maybe just a little brush corduroy that will just kind of smear under them. Okay, and I'm going to put my sentiment over here. So I'm going to get a scrap paper. I could probably even use this scrap, maybe not. My sentiment is from 2 stamp sets. No, it's not from 2 stamp sets. It's from this one, Whispers from the Garden. But what I did is I cut 2 stamp sets apart to make it work. So let me grab those and I'll be right back. So I have not yet put any Aleene's Tack It Over and Over on the back of these 2 stamps. And so what I wanted to show you was a tricky way that you can get your stamps to adhere to an acrylic block but also whip them back off with no problem. Take your chapstick, put your chapstick over the spot you want to have your stamp stuck to. I would normally cut this, but the sentiment on the bottom part is too close, and so I'm just going to wipe it off with my finger, and then I have to make sure it's straight again. Well, I think this one looks better. We're going to go with that one, if we can get our circle to work. And the circle die we're using is this one. That should just work, hopefully. That's my goal anyway. So I'm going to have to tape that to make sure it stays where I want it. If you put your washi tape on the outside of your circle, you'll be able to keep your, if it rips the paper, it won't ruin what you've put through the die cutter, in case you didn't follow that. Okay, let me run this through the die cutter and I'll be right back. Okay, so here it is after I die cut it, and I thought what I would do is go across it with this Summer Sun color, and then when I put it on the card, when I put it on the card, what I thought I would do is once it's there, I would just cut the edges out. See what a nice job these brushes do? I mean, really, they're nice and so inexpensive and so easy to hold. Again, I got them at Harbor Freight Liquidator, and you get a whole bunch of them, and you just need one for every color family. I recommend them highly. I can't recommend them enough, but if you have any questions, ask me. I'll be glad to tell you. I think I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals, and I'm going to cut out part of it maybe. I decided what I was going to do before I went any further is I was going to round the corners on this. And if you've never seen my corner rounder that I really like, it's this Kata Maru Pro. I'm sorry if I hacked that up. I did not mean to. But I got it on Amazon, and people ask me about it all the time. It's the only punch I have that has 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. And it's the only one that I really feel comfortable using with my forearm, and you know, sometimes people have trouble with that, and so I thought I would just tell you, use your forearm if you can. And let's get some tape runner I've had all kinds of issues with my tape runners, and I've ripped half of them apart. I don't know what my problem is, but my tape runners are just bizarre and not working for me. I don't know if it's the weather or what, but I've had a lot of them completely, the whole bottom of them, no, this piece rips, so I have a bunch I have to figure out a way to put back together, and I'm not completely certain that this will hold, so I'm going to add some wet glue, just a little bit around here and there, to make sure this bad boy stays together in the mail, because I don't want it to fall apart. And that was Tombow Mono Aqua Glue. And I'm just going to put this right here. And then I haven't decided about this, but what I wanted to do, my plan, was to put it somewhere where I could cut it off, cut part of the, I actually like it better on this side. Maybe I'll just cover up some birds and have only one bird, but for some reason I like it better on that side than I do on the other side. So I'm going to just take I have foam squares on the back, and I need to put one more on here. Okay, I'm digging that. I know I should have something over here, but I don't. So there is our gnome card. I'm going to send this to my cousin Shelli. Don't tell her. It's a big secret. And I hope that she enjoys it, because she does love those little fairy gardens. So before I put it away, I decided it needed something, so I put a little bit of stickles on the trees so they're frisky, and then I made my envelope running the little snails across the bottom and on the back. I hope you enjoyed this, that you'll give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.